we get it out to the widest possible audience. And for those of us who really want to build the brand of boxing, we want to get the best fights seen by the most possible people. And we have here today the man who helped make it all possible. We talked to him about doing this fight. He was very, very cooperative, and he made it happen. Please welcome the Vice President of HBO, Kerry Davis.
Thanks, Bob. Well, first I want to start with the thank yous. I want to thank Top Rank, Bob Arum, Todd Buck, and Carl Moretti, and also Lou DiBella for putting such a compelling fight together. And that's certainly what we have on April 17th, is a compelling fight. A matchup of the best middleweight in the world versus the best junior middleweight in the world by many of your views. Certainly, I don't have to say that. Many of you guys think that. So the compelling part of this matchup is obvious. Also, it's a terrific matchup of styles. And again, I think that that's pretty obvious. You have the great boxer, puncher, like Sergio, versus a great puncher, boxer, like Kelly. And you have a great clash and a great matchup in terms of styles as well, and something that promises to be a terrific television fight. And we also, from our standpoint, have one other thing, which is both of these guys have been in compelling and TV-friendly fight of the year type fights before on our network. So from our standpoint, Bob, this was a no-brainer. But this is only part of the appetizer, or part of the attraction for that night, because this indeed will be a special edition of World Championship Boxing, because we will start the night in Canada, where we will feature a fight between one of the best super middleweights in the world, with Lucien Bute, versus a very exciting fighter himself in Edson Miranda. So it's going to be a two-site, split-site fight doubleheader for us, and that's something we're very excited about. You know, oftentimes people say, you know, don't blink in boxing because you're going to miss something. And actually, Ken reminded me of a story that I wanted to tell really quickly, which was the Paul Williams fight and Sergio Martinez fight, which happened in Atlantic City, did turn out to be a terrific fight. And as he said, he put Sergio in a place where he could be in a fight like this. And one of the things that happens as you get older, many of you in this room will know, is that you sometimes can't control when you have to go to the bathroom. And so, on that night, in the very first round, for whatever reason, I didn't go early, and the bell rings, and I gotta go to the bathroom during the first round of that fight. So I'm in the bathroom doing my business, and I'm hearing the crowd roar, and I'm saying, what the hell happened? I come back out, and some guy explains to me as I'm walking out that the fight's over. Right, that Paul Williams had been knocked down in the first round, that he had gotten up, oh no, I'm sorry, that Sergio had been knocked down, he had gotten up, and he knocked down Paul Williams, and Paul Williams had quit. I'm like, what? So I went running into the arena, looking, and the first person I saw was Dan Goosen, who did have a look on his face like something awful had happened. So I noticed that look, and I was reminded, and of course the guy had the information wrong, but it was a fun night. And that's what we expect on that Saturday. We're going to have a fun night of television. And I'm going to say for you guys, if you have to go to the bathroom, go before the fights happen. Right? That's the lesson learned when people say don't blink in boxing. This is certainly one of those cases where we have an exciting night. Our start time will be 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Central. Again, we will start in Canada, where the Boxing After Dark broadcast team will handle that broadcast, and then Larry, Jim, and Emmanuel will be with the main event, which will be in Atlantic City. So we look forward to a terrific night. And again, Bob, thank you for making it all happen.
Who will introduce Sergio and Samson, and turn this over now to Lou DiBella.
Well, I too was surprised and happy when I got a call from Bob to come to Dallas to do this press conference. I'm looking forward to going to this great event tonight, this spectacle. And I'm going to say here what I said out there to a few people, which is in his old age, Arum's like going through a renaissance. I mean, the stuff he's doing right now is unbelievable. This event is great for boxing. We need to elevate the sport and create major events. We also need on the grassroots level to redevelop it. But between this and what you're doing at Yankee Stadium, I mean, Top Rank's doing a tremendous job, and I'm actually learning a little bit from you guys, and I appreciate what you're doing, Bob. You're doing a lot for the sport. This is going to be a hell of a fight. I mean, I'm used to this guy over here. He's beaten me twice, my fighter twice, once pretty badly. Jack Lowe's a terrific trainer, and they got a great team. They didn't have to take this fight. I mean, my guy's a beast. Sergio's one of the best fighters in the world, period, pound for pound. He could be 4-0 in his last 3 fights. Instead, he's 1-1-1 because he beat Citron twice in one night and didn't get the... I curbs my fighter too, but I mean, there was a knockout there was a decision, and it was a draw, and I was like, whoa. And the fight with Williams, I mean, when you're in a coffee, I was in a coffee room at 4 o'clock in the morning, the coffee shop at the hotel, and Paul, who's a terrific fighter, and I give him great credit, he fought his heart out, but he looked like he was in Vietnam that night, and Sergio looked like he'd gone dancing, and I know who won that fight, and right now he should be 3-0 in his last 3 fights. To get this opportunity, it's a great opportunity, particularly since no one at his weight class will fight him. One thing Sergio had said after the Williams fight is, I'd really like to fight in my own weight one of these days. I called Gary Shaw. I said, how about Angulo? He laughed at me, and literally laughed at me. And no one at the 54-pound division wants to fight Sergio Martinez because he is so far and away the best in that division. And frankly, he's the biggest threat to Kelly Pavlik. Yet Kelly and Jack Lowe and their team, Bob, they took this fight, and I give them tremendous credit for that, and I thank them for giving Sergio this opportunity. Sergio's advisor, the ever-present and omnipotent Samson Lugovic, had sent me a tape a couple of years back of Sergio, and I looked at it, and I'm like, who is this guy, and where has he been? And Samson told me he'd offered him to another promotional company, but they didn't want to make the investment in giving him a couple of fights in the U.S. before he took on top opposition. But I looked at that tape and I said, this guy's something special, and literally this is one of the best fighters quality-wise I've ever promoted. You remember the name Carlos Monzon? Bob mentioned it. I think that this is the best fighter to come out of Argentina, unquestionably, since Carlos Monzon. And I actually have a real strong feeling that when we get into Atlantic City on the night of April 17th, that great tradition of Argentine middleweights is going to continue, and there'll be a new middleweight champion. I have no illusions. This is a very difficult fight. This guy's one of the strongest fighters in the game. He's really, he could be a 68-pounder and dominate that division on his strength. My fighter is really a pure 54-pounder. Right now he weighs probably 69, 70, and this is way in advance of the fight. He could be fighting 54 that night. So it is a little bit of a David and Goliath. I was buoyed by all these reports of how lousy Pavlik was doing and how bad he looked and stumbling around, and he walks into the room, he looks like he's in better shape than I've seen him in a couple of years. I know that we have a very, very tough fight on our hands, but I think it's going to be a great night of boxing. It's going to be great for Atlantic City. I believe that Sergio Martinez is going to walk out that night a superstar, and never again will we be a B-side on a promotion. I'd like to bring up Samson to say a few words, and then Samson, you'll translate for Sergio? Okay. Got an injury that moved him into boxing, and started a little bit late. He's in his early 30s, but he's got no miles on him whatsoever, and he's a consummate athlete. One of these guys whose weight doesn't fluctuate, who's always in shape, and I really do believe that when you wake up on April 18th, people are going to be comparing this man to Carlos Monzon. Sergio Martinez.
Hola, buenas tardes. Habla Sansón.
Is it on?
One.
Is that mic on?
One. Testing. 1.